And Lenox, Alabama, September 25th, going to start a new Bible study on the book of Exodus, the second book in the Bible, Genesis, Exodus. Is it ever okay to lie? What a question. Well, let's see what the Bible says. Okay, we're on Rumble at Kent Hovind Official in case they take us off of YouTube again. We're on Genesis Baptist Church for now on YouTube and Dr. Dino on YouTube. On Odyssey, Kent Hovind Official. You can see them all on drdino.com, our website. Let's see. Yom Kippur. Today is Yom Kippur for the Jews, okay? It's called the Day of Atonement. In theory, this is the day in Leviticus 16 where the high priest would go in once a year with the sacrifice. So I think it's maybe a little bit off. That's good. Thank you, brother. Okay. Get more water here. Yom Kippur. The Jews seek to expiate their sins and achieve reconciliation with God. All you Jews, listen, it's already been done. Jesus did it for you. We should just accept that, okay? The day to set aside to afflict the soul to atone for sins. You afflicting your soul is never going to atone for your sins. That's what Cain tried, okay? You got to have a sacrifice. And that's what Jesus was, okay? Today's also National John Day. Anybody named John? Anybody named John? Today's the day you're supposed to give me $50 or something. I forget. Come join us as we celebrate your day. Coming to you live from Genesis Baptist Church in Lenox, Alabama. We're an old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental Baptist church. We believe the Bible is true. Come see our amazing floor that Kevin did with the cedar and the oak the guy donated, and the pews that got church donated to us. And amazing. We love this place. Okay, visitors from all over the place, 140-acre campground. Visitors from 50 states and now 72 countries. Come take the tour in one of our Jeeps or our side-by-sides. We have a science center, 12,000 square feet. Visitors from all over the world come to see this place. We don't even advertise. They just come. I don't know. Okay, try our cool science lessons. Okay, Jeff from New York, thanks for visiting. Tomorrow, you're going to be here tomorrow? We can show you the tour? All right. We have all kinds of cool science lessons. You can try our leap of faith, a 40-foot swing, make a paper airplane go 300 feet. Okay, 420 is the record at our Dinosaur Adventureland Airport. Does that look like an airport, brother? It does, doesn't it? Yeah, if you just imagine. There we go. Okay, try to use a sling to hit Goliath, 10 feet tall. All kinds of cool stuff in our science center. We just want God to get the glory for the creation. Come on down, see the whole place. It's amazing. Cool science lessons, science experiments, giant snake skin, all kinds of skins and skulls and fossils. And there are no fossils, none in the world ever been found to support the evolution theory. Evolution's a religion. It's not science, okay? You can stay in one of our cabins. We have 25 cabins, stay in for free for a couple nights. After that, we put you to work. Pretty cool. The cabins are pretty nice. Now, before the rumors get started, worldwide, I need to squelch it right here, okay? This is not what our bathrooms look like. You understand? Somebody started that. People start the craziest rumors about us around here, don't they? Okay, we've been on a mission for 54 years to use cool science demonstrations to bring people to the Lord. 140 acres, big L-shaped property. It's no gravel pit. Speaking of which, there's 17 lakes on the property. We dug out all of them, and now we got giant piles of dirt that need to be moved. We've got to find a front-end loader soon. If you know where we can get one real cheap, our budget now is up to $85. We've got saved up for one. So if you know where we can get one, let me a front-end loader. If you got one in your closet, check under your shoes and see. We need one, okay? We need somebody to help with landscaping and gardening around here. It's never ending. Beautiful place. Check our Garden of Whedon. What are you waiting for? Come on down. Okay, September 25th. How long did that take? 4 minutes, not bad. Okay, September 25th, Exodus chapter 1. You can help us to open for free. Join our 777 Club. And PayPal is now down here, right there. Okay, if you want to help with that. Okay, any donations, make checks out to CSE, Creation Science Evangelism. Get our video series. You on the ball? Look at that. Man, that's almost worth a raise, brother. That was fast. How about the next one? Ready, set, go. Look at that. You beat me. Wow. Get our Woe series. What on earth is about to happen? Perfect place to bring a youth group, men's group, women's group, retreat, advance, whatever you want to do. Okay. Exodus. Where does Exodus fit into the Bible? The first 5 books of the Bible are called the Pentateuch, penta meaning 5, okay, like a pentagram. The Old Testament is everything before Jesus came. The New Testament is everything after Jesus came. The first 5 books of the Old Testament are called the Pentateuch, and starts with the book of Genesis. And there's Exodus, the second one right there. There's a total of 1,189 chapters in the Bible, 66 books, but 1,189 chapters, 31,000 verses. Genesis has 50 chapters. The word Genesis means beginning, where we get the word generator, generation. What else starts with a gen? Anyway, okay. Exodus means to go out, to exit, okay? This is the exit, them going out of Egypt. Leviticus, one of the 12 tribes was the tribe of Levi. And so this is the book where God chose them to be the priests, okay? And he gave all the laws to all the Jews. And none of them have ever kept them, ever, except for Jesus Christ. Then Numbers is where they counted the people because they messed up and God said, okay, none of you that are alive today, 20 and over, get to go into the promised land. So they wandered around for 40 years until that generation died off, the book of Numbers, where they counted the people. And then Deutero in Hebrew or some language means twin. Deuteronomy is the second time they gave the law, but now it's to a new batch of people. So it's the Exodus, they give the law, and Deuteronomy, they give it again. Joshua then led them into the promised land. That will cover the book of Joshua some other time. Okay, so Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. God called them out of slavery. They had been enslaved for a long time in Egypt. We'll get into later the supposed contradiction for how long they were there, 430, 420, 215, some other time. Maybe when we get to maybe chapter 12, we'll get to that. Okay, maybe God's got you enslaved. How many of you have ever felt enslaved to some kind of bad habit or bad relationship or something like that? Yeah, okay. This study will help you how to get out of slavery. The book of Genesis covers 2,200 years from Adam all the way up to Moses. That covers more of the world history than any other book in the Bible. The book of Genesis does, okay? So you got Adam was 130, his son Seth when his son was born, and Seth was 105 when his son was born. You go through and you add up the dates in the Bible, or you get one of my charts, which we have. How much is a group of them? Bobby, if they buy 6 of them for placemats, is there? I don't know. Maybe get that up there. $10 a piece for the heavy lamination for perfect for placemats for your table when your skeptic friends come. On the back is all about how Grand Canyon probably formed in a week, not millions of years. You say, oh, it took millions of years. Well, then you don't understand how Grand Canyon formed. Anyway, you add up all these dates and it comes to 4000 BC roughly for the creation. So Adam lived right here. The next main character would be Noah, who lived right through the flood, and probably, Noah's daddy would have known Adam. Okay? Then you come to a famous character right there, Abraham. These 4 guys, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. Just memorize those names in order. The last 38 chapters of the book of Genesis covers the history of God calling Abraham to establish the great nation of Israel. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. One of them was Joseph. The brothers got jealous of Joseph and they sold him into slavery down in Egypt. Jacob's name also is Israel. The nation today of Israel is named after him. He was one of the 12 kids, Jacob. So you got Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and his 12 sons. 3 main ones we're going to cover in this study would be Levi, the tribe of Levi. The Leviticus comes after that. They became the priests. Judah. Well, later, when Israel split into 2 countries, the northern part was called Judah, after this guy, Judah. Okay, and then he's the one that became the great grandfather of David and Jesus. The Jesus came through the line of Judah. Then you got a guy named Joseph. He was one of the 2 sons of Rachel. See, Jacob had 4 wives. God was punishing him. Okay. The 11 brothers sold their brother Joseph to be a slave in Egypt, where he was promoted to vice pharaoh, or whatever they called him, okay? Genesis ends with the Jews growing to probably 2 million souls. 17 people went down there, the 11 brothers and their wives and some kids. And a couple hundred years later, there's probably 2 million of them. Joseph died in Egypt and in about 1700 BC. So a lot of the book of Exodus takes place right in this time frame. So you got Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 kids, and then it leads down to Levi's great-grandson was Moses. There he is, Moses. All right. He had a brother named Aaron. We'll talk about Aaron, who's a couple years older than him, okay? Key figure, Moses mentioned in the Bible 848 times. Mentioned a bunch of times in the New Testament, okay? So Exodus chapter 1. Now, these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Keep in mind, they were all up in Israel. Their brother was down there. They sold him to be a slave, and they were shocked to find out he's now vice pharaoh. and he invited them all to come down and live with him. In spite of what they had done to him, he said, there's a famine, guys. It's going to get bad for 7 years. Y'all move your families down to Egypt. I'll feed you. All 11 families. Okay. So we got every man with his household. We came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher. All the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already, and Joseph's wife and 2 kids. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. So 70 of them moved down to live in Egypt, and now there's a whole bunch of them. And the Egyptians are looking around saying, are we feeding all these people? Let's put them to work. Let's make them slaves. There arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said to his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. And there are people who make this their ministry to do the research historically on this, and they find out it's exactly correct. Those cities were built by slave labor. And you see a time later where they stop giving them straw, and they find brick walls there that have the regular brick with straw, then it changes over to brick with stubble. This has all been documented historically, and somebody else can handle that. Okay, so they built these cities. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel, that they would be the Egyptians. What are we going to do with them? We're trying to work them to death, and it ain't working, okay? And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, slave labor, all day, every day. So later, when they get a commandment that they have to rest 1 day a week, it was like, whoa, yay. They'd been on the 7 day a week, probably 12-hour days for a long time. They never heard of a day of rest. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar, in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. And all their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor. Go plow the corn, do everything. Egyptians made them do everything. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives. The midwife, what's the equivalent today? RN, and delivers the baby. Is there a special name for that? You're a nurse's assistant. What? Midwife. They still call them a midwife. Yes. Their job is to deliver the baby. I delivered one of mine at home. There's nothing to it. It makes a mess, but they talk about all that pain, and I didn't feel none of the pain. Okay. The king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which a name was Shiphrah, and the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, in other words, when you go deliver the baby, and see them upon the stools, see, they would have the baby sitting up on a stool. We have ours laying down. Sitting up on a stool, you got gravity helping you. I would assume it's easier. I got no clue. I never had a baby. Let's see. When you see him on the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. Wait. The king of Egypt told these ladies, kill the baby boys. So now they got a choice to make. Are they going to obey the king or disobey the king? Sometimes you have tough choices to make in life. Has anybody ever been faced with a really tough choice and it's kind of hard to figure out, okay, what do I do here? They got a tough choice, okay? But the midwives feared God and did not, as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive. So they disobeyed the order. Okay, but watch this. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, why have ye done this thing and have saved the men, children alive? Well, what should they answer? Because we didn't like your order, sir? And the midwife said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come into them. They have the baby before we get there, sir. We get the call, she's contracting and she's dilating, By the time we get there, the baby's born. They're lying. Therefore, God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. Is it ever okay to lie? Well, the midwives lied to save the lives of the babies. The Egyptians were doing the wrong. Is it okay to lie to save somebody's life? Apparently so. They were saving the babies. Rahab was hiding the spies on her roof and lied about it to save their lives. When Joshua was going to go conquer the land, he came to the city of Jericho. God said, Joshua, send in some spies first. They sent spies into the city of Jericho, and Rahab lived in the town wall. Their wall was real thick, apartment building, and she lived in the wall. And the leaders of that city, Jericho, sent to Rahab and said, where's those men that came in here? And she hid them under the flax on the roof. And she said, oh, they were here, but they just left. Chase them quick, you'll catch them. She lied to them. Read Joshua chapter 2. God rewarded her greatly. Hebrews chapter 11. Jonathan lied to his father, King David, to King Saul to save David's life. Read 1 Samuel chapter 20. Saul wanted to kill David. So Jonathan, Saul's own son, lied to his own dad. Read the story, 1 Samuel 20. It's to save lives, to save lives, to save lives. See, sometimes there's a higher law than the authority. There's somebody higher than Pharaoh called God, okay? There's somebody higher than the leaders of your city called God. Rahab knew that. In each of these cases, it was a political leader who was in the wrong and was planning to kill someone who was innocent. The lie was to save innocent lives. While Hitler was killing 6 million Jews, many people hid them and lied about it. Read the book, The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom. How they hid people they built special building just to confuse the people searching. Hide the Jews. It was Hitler and his thugs who started this whole problem. And yes, it's okay to lie to Adolf Hitler. It's okay to lie to the Nazis. It's perfectly fine. It's like in wartime, the rules change. There's a rule, thou shalt not kill. But in wartime, things are different, okay? It was right to wear camouflage to deceive the enemy about your location. Look at this. Hey, Billy, the Norwegians. Any more Norwegians in the crowd? Or we got to do all the thinking for everybody, brother. Okay. It was right to wear camo and deceive the enemy about your location. It's wartime. It was right to deceive the enemy sniper into revealing his location. Stick a head up there. When he shoots, now there's where he is. Oh, there's the sniper, okay. Thou shalt not kill changes when it comes to capital punishment or war. Let's see, Stanley High School student died in a shooting in 1300 block in Kansas City early Sunday morning. 53 school shootings in the United States so far this year. Well, when CNN, the communist news network, admits it, you got something there. Map of school shootings. Question. If you walked into a school and saw some kid walking around with a gun shooting people in the classroom, would it be okay to shoot him? Yeah. It's okay to shoot someone who's shooting children in school. Of course it is, okay? Therefore, God dealt well with the midwives. Now, I don't want you to think it's always okay to lie. And this is you got to answer to God for this. But there are situations where it's okay to shoot somebody. There are situations where it's okay to lie if they're going to kill somebody and you're trying to protect somebody from being killed. Yeah. Came to pass, because the midwives feared God, he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, and saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Now, wait a minute. Pharaoh could not get the midwives to kill the Hebrew babies, so he charges his own people, the Egyptians, to start killing their babies. And I bet they did it, didn't they? What an idiot. We'll see later this Pharaoh guy, what a moron he was. He went through 10 plagues. God kept judging him over and over and over again. He just didn't get it. My wife and I the other day were singing in the car as we drove One more night with the frogs. Anybody ever heard that song? Moses, they had a plague of frogs. We'll see that later. Came in and invaded Egypt, one of the plagues Moses sent. And Pharaoh said, Moses, get in here. Get rid of these frogs. He said, tell me, Pharaoh, when would you like me to get rid of them? And Pharaoh gave the dumbest answer in the history of humanity. He said, tomorrow. I got to have one more night with the frogs. What a moron. Anyway, Exodus chapter 1. Any questions so far? Okay. Thank you so much for joining us here. Who do you think the 24 elders are in Revelation? Boy, I don't know, Joshua. Possibly one from each of the tribes of Israel and one representing the 12 disciples, showing the transition from Jews to disciples. I don't see any way to know that. When I wrote my book and did my video series on what on earth is about to happen and made my charts and all that, I spent thousands of hours studying that topic. I couldn't come up with that. Brother Meister, do you have an answer for that? Who are the 24? I've never had anybody be able to have to wait and see. Okay? All right? Another one? I'm about to start street preaching. Might you have any advice for a beginner? Well, sure. When I went to Pensacola to start to put my wife through college at Pensacola Christian College, the neighbor kid said, would you like to take the paper? I said, no, I don't have a parakeet. The only thing it's good for. But he started throwing them in the yard once in a while if he had an extra. And I read one that said dinosaur bones found in Montana from, 80 million years ago. So I wrote a letter to the editor and said, no, the dinosaurs that they found were one that drowned in the flood. First, fossils don't form easily, and flood would do that. And the world's only 6,000 years old. So I spelled out the creation view. And boy, it started a war in Pensacola. I have people call me once in a while, Brother Hovind, how do I start a ministry? I say, did you go to public school? Yeah. Did they ever have fights in the hallway? Yeah. After they holler, fight, fight, what's the next thing that happens? Everybody comes to watch, right? You want to draw a crowd? Start a fight. You want to start a ministry? Start a controversial topic. Go stand on the street corner and say, our kids are being lied to in these textbooks. There is no such thing as a geologic column. That'll start a fight. That'll draw a crowd. Say there's no such thing as a fossil record. Pick one lie in the textbooks. Get my video number 4 out of my series, Lies in the Textbooks. Get the whole series for $50. But video number 4, Lies in the Textbooks. Just pick one of the 30-some lies that I cover, become an expert on it, get studied up, like the gill slits. They're still teaching the people in school the baby growing inside the mother has gills like a fish, proven wrong in 1874. Just get research on that, make some signs and posters, go set up a display, and go to your local school and get a copy of the textbook, or at least get pictures of it, of the page where they're teaching that. And say, don't mention creation, don't mention God, don't mention the Bible. Just go to your school board and say, I would like page number 87 torn out of this book. This is a lie, it's been proven wrong. And if that doesn't work, go to the state. Do it. Start a lawsuit just on one topic. Get a biology book and say, I want this lie taken out of the textbook. This should not be in our biology books. It's not true. And they're going to say, what, are you trying to get the Bible in school? I didn't mention the Bible. I want the lies out of the books. If you found a math book that said 2 + 2 is 5, what would you do? Well, do the same thing with the stupid gill slits. But listen, if you start a fight, you'll start a ministry. You won't make any money, but it's a lot of fun, okay? All right, any other questions? What do you think about supposed alien mummies shown in Mexico? I haven't heard about that. Don't know. Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow on Exodus chapter 2, and then Wednesday night, Whack an Atheist, Mr. Aaron Nelson, who calls himself Aaron Ra, going to get it again. And Aaron, you're welcome to join the program, okay? But Joseph, when it's my turn to talk, his mic gets shut off. Yes, sir. Okay? Aaron, I'll debate you on my channel or Standing for Truth channel, not on yours. I want somebody that shuts you up when it's not your turn to talk, because you interrupt all the time. One topic at a time. You go first. Challenge you to a debate. Give the best single evidence you've got for evolution. I get equal time to counter it, and you can't interrupt at all. No talk. We'll shut your mic off. Then when it's your turn, we'll shut my mic off. Equal time for each side. There is no evidence for evolution. You call yourself a Satanist and what do you call himself? A science communicator. We'll talk about that Wednesday night. See you then. Bye.